Hello all, welcome back to our YouTube channel, and today we are going to see what is Metastore and then how to create a catalog. So basically Metastore is the central repository in the Azure Databricks. So whenever it will store basically catalog. If I open the notepad, Metastore is in Azure Databricks is a central metadata repository, means it is the storage that store the information about the catalog. First one is catalog, schema, table, volume and function. Also it will store the credential and all the things. So when we create a Azure Databricks, at the starting only admin part they created Metastore, and basically they create a ADLS, and there it will store the all the information. Basically it store the all the information of catalog, schema, table, volume, function. So this is the hierarchy. At the top level, this is the Metastore at the top level. Then we have catalog. Then we have schema. Schema means also known as a database. If you know the SQL databases, right? And then we have the tables, volume and function. So here tables, volumes and functions. So this is the hierarchy in a Azure Databricks. At the top we have the Metastore. So in community edition we don't have the permission to create a Metastore and all the things, but again in Metastore we have the two types, heavy Metastore and Unity Catalog Metastore, right? So today what we are going to see, already like in community edition they already created a Metastore. So here we don't need to create a Metastore. So today what we are going to see how to create a catalog, right? So catalog is again is a logical container that store the all the information of schema, table and volume and function. So now if you see this catalog I have created, and by default like in community edition or Azure Databricks we have one workspace and system. So today we are going to see how to create a catalog. Already Metastore is created. So first we are going to create, so whenever you want to create anything, any object in Azure Databricks, we use the mostly we use the SQL because we familiar with the SQL, right? So now using SQL, first create or replace, we can use replace, or directly we have the option of replace and refresh also. Create or replace catalog name, suppose catalog test, I can make as a test. Create or I think replace, create or replace catalog name, right? So here it is not working, I can make as a create catalog, right? So replace we don't need because we are not going to replace the catalog, right? It's so replace is not applicable for the catalog. So create catalog name, and if I run the code, if you see already we have three catalog, like basically this is like system created workspace system, and this one I created previously. So today we are going to see how to create a catalog in the one more catalog, right? If I click on this one, so we created the catalog, and if I try to refresh the, basically when you create any window, this is the refresh button, you can click on this one, and if you see we have new catalog is created. Under this catalog, if I just by default, like when you create any new catalog, by default two schema created, one is default and information schema. If I again go to the default one, like this there is no data, but if I go to the information schema, it have the, let it's loading, wait for some time, it's loading. So now if you see, this is are the views. So by default this views created. Whenever you create any new catalog, by default and information schema, that two schema created. Schema means basically database, two database created. Under this database we have these views like catalog privileges, catalog tags, catalog constants, column mask. So these are the some views by default created, right? And if I go to the particular views, again it has some other information. It's loading. Wait for some one some time. It will show. Now again this is the column name, right? So these are the like column name in the views, right? Now suppose we created a catalog, and now if you want to drop the catalog, right? Now just now we created catalog. Now you may wonder how to drop the catalog. So again you can drop. Syntax is again is very easy. You can either you can select here, or like whenever you mention the drop catalog, it will automatically change the SQL language. And if you want to check, like suppose your catalog is if exit, like if not exit or exit, so we can use this keyword like drop catalog if exit. If not exit, then don't show any error. Drop catalog test. Either you can use the if exists keyword, or you don't need to use. Now if you see, if I delete this one, like if I select run this query drop catalog if exist and catalog name, so this is our catalog name. What error we are getting? So catalog is test is empty. So let me, what I will do, I just create a drop catalog test. Let us create, let delete this one and create one function. So don't worry about this one. Firstly we create a normal table, and then like create schema. Firstly create the schema. So again, for to create the schema, like schema means database. Syntax is again is very easy. Create schema, create or replace, let's see, replace schema and schema test. So if you see, again like here also we can't use the replace. Let me run this, let's see we are able to run or not. I think now we need to go, like you may wonder it's, so first thing we need to give the catalog name before our schema test, because whenever in just like whenever you create a hierarchy, so in future like when you're creating catalog, first need to give the meta store. Like why did we don't need the meta store, it already created, right? So when you created the schema, so we need to give the catalog dot schema. Like suppose if our schema name catalog name is catalog 1, then schema 1, then table 1. So this is a hierarchy. Again, like if you are creating any function, right? So catalog 1, schema 1 and function 1. Now suppose if you are creating any volume, right? So again, first when you are creating catalog, schema and volumes. So this is the hierarchy you must need to follow. Otherwise, like if you not provide any path by default, that particular table, function and volume are created into the default workspace, that is workspace, right? So here we don't need to use the replace also in the schema. Also mostly table volume function, there we use the schema replace, right? So schema, if I use this one, now if you see this is the our catalog name and this is our schema name. Now if I run the our query, schema will be created. Now if I refresh this our window under catalog test, so if you see schema test is created, right? So now let's try to drop the our catalog, because previously what happened, catalog is totally empty, so that's why we got the error. We are the like system is saying that not able to delete the catalog because catalog is empty. Now let's try once more, drop catalog if exist and our catalog name, because now we created one object in catalog, one schema. Now if I run the code again, like if you see catalog de test is not empty. Let's delete this one if exit one, that keyword, and let see if you are able to delete or not. So, and if I use, if you don't the cascade, like if I use the cascade, now it will basically, when we have the hierarchy, right? Because that time we use the cascade, because now what happened previously, at the starting we got the error that catalog is empty. Now we created the schema, right? Now at now this situation, catalog is not empty. Are you getting my point? Like we created the catalog test, and we created the schema, that is, this is a main logical container, and under this container catalog test we have the one schema, right? So firstly we need to delete this schema and then we can drop the catalog, right? So rather than deleting this schema and then deleting this catalog, we can use this cascade keyword. So basically it will not consider the hierarchy and delete all the catalog, rather than we, even though we have the child items. So cascade is very important. If you don't know, like whenever we have the hierarchy and we are deleting the top level container, and if that at that time we can use the cascade keyword. So I got my point. Now if I try to refresh the our window, if you see, the catalog test will be, why it is failed to request, catalog does not exist, because already we dropped, right? So now refresh this one and maximize it, and if I refresh once again, let's see, you're getting this error. Taking more time, wait for some time till this window load. And now if you see, we don't have any catalog. See, we deleted the our catalog. So that's all about the today's video, how to create a catalog. If you have any question, any doubt, please write down in comment, and please subscribe the channel. Thank you.